Hey, Lauren here, wanting to talk to you today about booze and sex, something that is pretty close to my heart personally and professionally, because it's super easy to rely on alcohol, especially for women, to get in the mood for sex. So let's go back to basics. Why do we like booze so much? Booze is a depressant, and what that means is that not that you necessarily feel depressed when you have it, but that it depresses your central nervous system, slows everything down, and that slowing of everything down also reduces your capacity to feel anxious and apprehensive. So you feel a little bit calmer, a little bit more open, a little bit more chatty, and that's what that means by a depressant, is that we start to slow a lot of things down. And that disinhibition is really tempting to rely upon for women and people that feel a little bit apprehensive about sex, or feel anxious about it, or feel like they can't let go. And letting go might mean being open in their bodies, might be exploring new things, it might be allowing someone to give them oral sex. It could be letting go so that they can reach a state of orgasm, or a space where they feel orgasmic. So it's pretty easy to fall into that trap of pairing alcohol with sex. Super easy, especially if you don't feel very confident at all, and alcohol gives you a bit of armor that you're able to ask for something that you wouldn't normally feel comfortable or confident asking for. So very, very easy to move into this trap. And I did a post on Instagram just around Christmas time, and I was just reflecting upon the role that champagne used to have in my sex life. Sometimes it was champagne, sometimes it was sparkling. The role that champagne used to have in helping me to feel like it would equip me or armor me to go into places and try things in sex that I otherwise wouldn't feel confident enough to do. So this was taking place before I studied sexology, and even during when I was studying sexology a bit, because that good girl persona needed something to really release and let go, and to drop some of the anxiety and to move into a different identity. It's quite sad, really. It's not something I'm particularly proud of, but it's something that I'm happy to be honest about, because when we don't know a lot about sex, or what we're capable of, or if it's really scary being sexual, or we don't feel safe being sexual, it's a very understandable and human thing to do. Very human. So, should you drink to get into sex? Well, here's what I'd say to my clients. First of all, I'd want to explore what your relationship is with alcohol, in and out of sex. If you're dependent or reliant upon it to get in the mood for sex, then I'd say that there's a problem there. There's a problem because you're going to be inauthentic, you're going to be boozy, and you might even sabotage some of your pleasure. One of the dark sides of alcohol is that depressant can make you so depressed in terms of your consciousness, in that you want to go to sleep, or you pass out, or you black out, so you don't actually remember what's happened. The other thing is that alcohol can suppress your capacity to orgasm. Or orgasms just don't feel quite as deep if you're under the influence of alcohol, which is a bit of a shame, because you're missing out there on feeling something and really enjoying it. Now, hopefully your orgasm feels enjoyable. So If you're using it again and again and again, if it's your partner in crime to get into sex, I'd say that there's something there that needs to be addressed, and it's completely possible to feel more confident and more sure of your sexual skills in sex when you learn about them and you explore them for yourself, and you learn more about touch and communication skills. It's definitely possible. I can tell you right now that myself and my clients have moved into a space of being at peace with our sexuality and owning being a sexual woman without alcohol, and that's exciting. Well, that excites me. It's really rare that I use alcohol with sex, and if I do, it's a bit of a conscious choice and it's a really small amount. So rather, what I do, if I know that it's going to be a big night and I want to have that sense of intimacy with my husband, then we drink after we have sex. So we have sex first and then drink later on. Obviously that's been a miss the last year or so with pregnancy and breastfeeding, but it's a conscious choice is what I'm saying. I don't hand my power over to alcohol. I don't need it anymore, which is really exciting. And I'm absolutely present now for sex because there is no alcohol involved. Yeah, so should you drink? It's okay to choose to have a drink or two before sex with your partner. Sometimes I see it as a bit of an icebreaker to just, if you're really disconnected and it's been a while and there's a lot of tension and apprehension around having sex again, then having 1 or 2 drinks, standard drinks, which is 10 grams of alcohol, is okay. That's all right. If you find that you get into a pattern or a habit of needing a drink to get into sex, then there's something else there are some other issues there that need to be looked into a little bit more deeply. And a lot of it's about leaving alcohol behind is about sourcing a sense of confidence in yourself and bringing some variety into sex and being more familiar with your own body and looking at your own body. Because if you're feeling anxious about sex, then I'd say that you definitely have the capacity to learn new skills to feel less anxious and more open in sex, which is what I'm really passionate about, and it's what I share with women every time I'm in a session. So yes, alcohol's okay as a one-off every now and again. If you're going there again and again and again, it's really going to get in the way of your satisfaction, and it could cause more conflict. People get a bit more prone to, they might get a little bit lovey at first when they're drinking and connecting with their partners, but later on down the line, after a few more drinks, you're probably more likely to have conflict or a fight, because a few red herrings, old stuff, old shit comes up, and and causes more destruction than connection. So be really careful about that and around that. So alcohol and sex, should you do it? It's up to you. Depends what you want to feel. Depends how authentic you want to be in your sex life. Depends on how ready you are to learn something new about yourself, and if you're prepared to meet the sexual woman that you are. Oh, that's a juicy one. Are you prepared to meet the sexual woman that you are? Today's sexy mantra for me, and very much ties in with alcohol and sex, is my safety secures my pleasure. So women drink alcohol with sex because they don't feel safe within themselves to express themselves. But I'm now at a point where I feel safe within myself because I trust myself, and my safety secures my pleasure. If you're drinking, you might not feel safe within yourself, or you might not feel safe to express that wild woman that lives inside of you. And when she comes out, she's really sexy, I promise. She's amazing. My safety secures my pleasure. They're available at www.sexosophy.com.au/sexy mantras. And unfortunately, there we go. There's the right tone. There's computer tone, natural tone. And I've got a new fresh blog up about touch and sexy touch up on my website, and in a couple of weeks, conversations. The second session is about touch and getting clear on touch. So I'm going to keep speaking to touch this month. And when you're not boozed, when you're not under the influence of alcohol, you can give really beautiful conscious touch, and you can be clear about what you want, and you can say yes from a place that's real. Thanks for watching and tuning in. I'm open to more topics of conversation. Otherwise, I will pick something random out of the million topics within human sexuality next week. I'll be on next Wednesday at 3. And check out my events, check out my website, have a read, have a stalk. Happy for you to stalk virtually. And I will hopefully connect with you in real life soon. See you next week. Bye.